As some of you might know, I grew up in the Chicago area, so I decided to go back there in April and to relive some of the things that made living there so much fun. As living in the Chicago, I lived in the Chicago area until November 25, 1986, when I moved to Florida because my parents have shit for brains because Florida is a fucking cesspool of fucking shit. And not only that, the weather is too fucking hot there. I left for the Chicago area on April 10, and it was in jeopardy because they were forecasting 12 inches of snow that night, as it is rare to get that much snow in April. And I don't mind when it snows, but I don't like it when I'm planning on going on a fucking trip. But I was lucky enough to get out of Minnesota to miss the snow. When I lived in the Chicago area, I went to college at Dupage. And now they have a group there for students and hopefully people who ain't students who have Asperger's syndrome. And they did not have a group for people with Asperger's syndrome when I was going there. College at Dupage has changed a lot since I went there. And I sure hope that their computers have changed, because when I was going there, they used the Commodore 6400 computers, and they used KMC, which was the Kmart brand piece of shit TV for their monitors, and you saved your files on a cassette tape. And once it ate my tape, and I lost all my files, and I was fucking pissed. And another time, a file disappeared off the tape, and I asked the lab attendant to help me, but he decided to be a prick, so I started playing the tape recorder, and it would look for the files that are already there, so I decided to type in the letters F-U-C-K for the file name, and when I turned the tape recorder on, it said searching for F-U-C-K, but it never found it. I have been searching for a good F-U-C-K my whole life, and I have never found it. Now, I can tell that lab attendant was an uptight fucking douchebag, and I walked by the lab a couple minutes later, and he gave me a dirty look as though I was the one who typed in the letters F-U-C-K. The main reason why I decided to go to the Chicago area is so I could make videos of trains and make videos while I was riding trains. And you know that you can ride any train anywhere you want in the entire Chicago area for an entire weekend just for $7. The people who get to live in the Chicago area are such lucky fucking bastards, and they have so many trains to ride. And you can ride any train you want for an entire weekend just for $7. On Saturday, I decided to take a train ride from Villa Park to Geneva. And the first time that I rode a train to Geneva was when I was only 10 years old, and that was back in the days before I had any pubic hair. I didn't start getting pubic hair until just before I turned 13 years old, and it was less than a month after I turned 13 is when I decided to beat off for the first time, and it felt so good. But it wasn't until after I turned 14 before thick white stuff started squirting out my penis when I would beat off. Well, I remember having so much fun riding the train at Geneva, and it was back in the days when they had those green and yellow Chicago and Northwestern trains, which has been replaced by Metro. But I really miss those green and yellow Chicago and Northwestern trains. On Sunday, I rode a train from Roselle to Chicago, and then I took another train to Joliet, and riding a train to Joliet was fun. Now, I didn't have anyone to travel with, but traveling with most people ain't any fun. I once traveled with someone, and I had to give up eating at any all-you-can-eat buffets because they didn't like buffets, and that made me so fucking mad. But most people are control-freak fucking scum who want to have everything their way, and they could care less about things that would make me happy. I did take my cat with me to the Chicago area, and I discovered that sharing a motel room with a cat is a lot more fun than sharing a motel with most people, because most people are a bunch of boring, mediocre, stupid assholes. I discovered that sharing a motel room with a cat is even more fun than sharing a motel room with bitches and hoes. The sex might be good, but if I shared a motel room with bitches and hoes, I would wake up with my wallet and car stolen. At the motel, the cat likes to sleep on the pillow right next to my head, and I don't have to worry about the cat picking my wallet. On my last day in the Chicago area, I decided to stop in Wheaton to make more videos of trains, and I remember how much I enjoyed riding my bike on the Illinois Prairie Path, and I really enjoyed watching those green and yellow Chicago Northwestern trains go by. But then I got older, I discovered that Wheaton had a lot of people who are Bible-thumping assholes. The minister at the First Baptist Church of Wheaton would go into video stores and get obscenity charges filed against them for having porno films, and the 7-Eleven in Wheaton was having all kinds of explicit porno magazines, but he managed to get the porno magazines out of the 7-Eleven. I hope that he has since croaked that fucking control freak, fucking dirtbag, fascist fucking pig trying to stick his nose in how people can live their lives, that fucking piece of fucking shit. But anyway, I still won't forget the time when I was 11 years old, and that was back in the days before I had any pubic hair, and I went for a bike ride on the Illinois Prairie Path, and I went into the Wheaton train station, and I would be saying over and over again, I love your trains, I love your trains. And there's a good chance it was because I had Asperger's syndrome back then. But then before I came home to Murderapolis, I stopped at a Golden Corral in Rockford for my well-deserved feast, which is an all-you-can-eat buffet. And I haven't eaten at that Golden Corral since October 24, 2007, when I got sick and I threw up and it splattered all over the stall of the bathroom. And the first thing I did 5.5 years later was to see if that throw up was still there, but it wasn't. Someone actually had to go there and clean it up. I felt a feeling of calm while I was standing on the bridge on the Illinois Prairie Path watching the trains go by, and Wheaton seems like such a nice, quaint town. Too bad it's all those fascist Christian assholes. I miss the Chicago area, and the people there are such lucky fucking bastards, and they have so many because they got so many trains to ride. And I have a show in the Fringe Festival that's called I Have Asperger's, What's Your Excuse? Come and see my show. And I'm probably going to do the thing you just heard, along with other things.